Welcome to our virtual meeting from DIY to 30 million streams. Gina from the band GeeJay is going to take over. Gina, there you go.
Good evening, everybody. And mega thanks for coming outside of the sunshine, away from the sunshine. It's exciting to be here. I'd come across Amplify Her and been to a couple of the coffee meets and thought, this is just so amazing, and I'd love to share any little tips I've learned along the way and just help others, because any little tiny snippets that can help is just, I think is, it's just nice to know that others have what stories they've been through and things like that. So I'm hoping that this evening I can help in any way. And if you have any questions as we go through each of the sections, feel free to put it in the chat, I think. But I thought I'd start with a little bit of the background and the journey of where I came from. I sort of came into music a bit later, around sort of 1920. I'm from the West Country, so I hadn't even had any friends that were musicians or anything like that. I hadn't written a song, so I had a bit of a bee in my bonnet, and I just took a jump really and moved to London. I went to a place called ICMP, which is in Kilburn, and I did a 1 year's course on vocal training, just help with breath work and different genres, and just sort of get your head in the game and understand what's going on. And then that year was up, and I thought, I really don't have any money, so I thought the only way for me to stay here is to become a student, get a student loan. And I studied music business and arts management. I don't know if in today I would have gone that way when you see the amount of debt that you accrue. And I also just feel like there's a lot more webinars and things online that are more ready available that you can get behind and study, as long as you apply it with experience. But yes, so then I did that. An experience for me at the same time, I just thought, whilst I'm studying and whilst I'm in this phase, I'm going to try all the different assets and areas of the music industry. So I became a booker for 3 venues and a festival to understanding the live side. I was doing backing vocals for an 8-piece soul band to learn how to be on stage for bigger crowds. I also worked a bit for So Sounds, doing crew lead, and just trying to find ways really, which I do really highly recommend, of just trying to get yourself out there to learn what it is you like or how other people do it, and you just start building up your artillery of knowledge for whatever it is you're going to come out and be and where you're going to want to go. Then I basically at the same time founded GeeJay, my current project. It was a lot easier for me to sort of put this knowledge together and just get to work really. So that was really important for me, to take all that experience of what I found. But so 10 years on, and I actually couldn't believe it when I was putting these bits together. I thought 10 years, that's crazy. But it does take time. It really does take time. And I feel like the further you go into the journey, the more you just become aware and the more you feel like you're stronger for it and you get a clearer direction of where you're headed. Sorry, I just look at my notes for where we are because I can't actually see the presentation thing anymore. So obviously, yes. So, thank you. Where am I? Who am I?
Sorry, I'm here. It's here. Tell me when to move it. I'll be your assistant.
Yeah, can you go down to the second page? So go down to that was the hustle, but that. So 10 years later, that's what I mean. It sounds like a long time, but I do feel like anything really, even if you're going to go and study to be a doctor or all the different fields in the world, it does take time and it does take patience, and it does it is hard work and determination. So from 10 years on, I've got multiple singles, EPs, the second album's on the way, which I'm so excited about. It's over 50 million streams, national, international performances, sold out the Jazz Cafe, and upcoming is the Islington Assembly Hall. And most importantly, in the last 2 years, I've become a full-time musician, as well as becoming a mum, and I've got another one coming in 8 weeks. So it's hectic, but Yeah, so I thought I would give you the background, and then I just take you through like what I've learned to get to these different sections with the live and the streaming, etc. So yeah, I think I'll go straight on to distribution if that's okay with you guys on the next slide. On the red one, please, Andrea. Thank you. Okay, so it feels like definitely today with record industry, label deals, etc. Like, and I think it's good. Like the 360 deal is really like no more. It's not really what the industry are offering, and quite often you get distribution. There are predominantly two main factors. So I just thought, I don't know if you can take a photo of the distribution tips. You get your flat fee distribution, and this is like the most common one where you just pay a fee. You get loads of control, so you don't have to ask to, you don't have to wait and be locked in a period, so you can remove your material at any point. I have actually heard of people getting like playlisting support as well, which is incredible, as long as they have the right strategy with it, going through them. And I'm not here to like promote certain ones, but it's a minefield. I've certainly found that Horus, for example, are a flat fee one. They're amazing purely because you can actually phone them. You can actually phone them and say, my song has not been mapped correctly. It's appeared on an incorrect artist page. Whereas I've worked with percentage-based distributions, and it's all automated. It takes 72 hours for them to respond, and your release has already gone out there, and it's very, very frustrating. It is great because if you're with a percentage-based distributor, so this is more like Orchard, AWOL, Believe, you do have like more of a direct person. But I've found in my personal experience, unless you're like taking an advance from them and you've accrued some streams to be offered that advance, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pitch you, because unless they put money into you, they probably don't have an incentive to push your material to get the money back. So yeah, I don't know where you guys are at. Are there any questions for, like, have you released before or not released before, or any questions around flat fee based?
I've got a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
I'm currently using Ditto, which is quite similar to DistroKid.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of downsides to doing that in the longer term versus some of these other models that you suggested?
I think for the percentage-based one, I did actually start on a percentage-based one to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I found it a disadvantage because they take 20%.
Yeah, mine's just a flat fee. It's just like £30 a year.
Exactly.
So
I would say, especially for the beginning, I would go for flat fee. And I can talk in a minute a bit more about how to like use a strategy to help you get seen and grow on the flat percentage, rather than straight in and giving away 20% and not really getting much for your 20%.
Yeah.
It's just what I found. I'm just here today to...
No, I think it's good to chat through different ideas.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would personally, from my experience, recommend going with a flat fee first, with an aim of, once you've built things up, looking at a percentage-based distribution and not making the mistake of the other way around.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Or I'll move on to the release. Oh yeah. Hang on, there's a question in here. It says, what I find really confusing is that with, I don't know that one, KYCKER, you get more when you pay the flat fee, more support. Okay. Do you mean more support as in you have like an artist liaison, somebody who answers your emails?
Yeah, basically, they have this whole thing. Yeah, they're available faster.
Yeah.
And I do a little bit more. Some things are unlocked. Some options are unlocked. I find it very confusing why it's that way.
I don't know. It's like, I really don't have an answer. And I just feel like as an artist, independent artist, you spend so much time hoping to get like, oh, I want to go on the percentage thing because then I will get playlisted. And it's like, I don't know. And there's so much more than just playlisting. At the moment, they're having a real problem with playlisting. People aren't really like traditionally listening to the curated playlist at the moment either. There's even more of like an incentive to go with the flat fee. And if you're getting more support as well, it's just win-win. I really don't know why it's become like that. It's interesting. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, cool. I will move on to like a little bit of what I've seen works for like building the buzz and helping with the flat fee and the percentage. So especially for like early in your releasing, really try not to just work your ass off, put your heart and soul into your first single and just drop it. Because from a perspective of the distributors, if they just see a single coming, they don't see that you're thinking like more as a business head. This is the whole thing about being DIY. You do have to try and put one hat on and the other hat on for creativity and business. If they see in your uploads that there's 4 tracks, for example, they can already start to see, okay, we can see that we can invest some time into this artist because we're going to get something back. This artist is going to bring people to the platform and they're going to continue to grow. Let's help them grow rather than a random single, which is so disappointing because you put so much effort and passion into it. So I would definitely recommend, if you can, try to upload it as a package. And obviously you've got the Spotify pitching tool. Again, what I've realized over the years is that when you come to fill out the pitching tool, they want to see like, what marketing have you got lined up? What PR have you got lined up? What, who's supporting this? And it's really hard to get anything to write in there because you don't have these major platforms supporting you yet. So I realized that if you can get like real tangible, real life things happening, so put a note here, even like if you've got a friend with a living room that's happy for you to have like 30 people over and you can film some content and you can sell like £3 tickets and you can raise this amount of money, you can then start writing like real tangible things into Spotify. Like, I've sold out my first show of 30 people. Brilliant. That's what they want to know. They want to see the difference between you and just like an artist who's not like into it. And then you can also show with that money that this is what you're going to use behind marketing, whether that's social media ads or whether that's, I don't know, like a run of stickers to get people into your mailing list. So yeah, and I've seen that helped get results in quicker for getting support from Spotify and helping with the algorithm. Sorry, Sarah just put release 4 songs at the same time. No, what I mean is ideally, and creativity doesn't always work like this. If you can upload 4 songs, but maybe 6 weeks between them each. So January, March, May, have 6 weeks gap in between them to have a little breather. But I don't know if you've seen, I've just noticed that the other day, Olivia Dean is a good artist to have a look at on Spotify. I was having a chat with some of the distributors the other day and they were saying that when you're able to upload the full project, and if you see it where it's like grayed out, where they start to release some songs, but you can see there's other songs coming, they've realized that the algorithm is favoring when artists have their material up ready to, they're showing that it's ready to release, but a staggered release, not all at once. Yeah, that's confusing or helps. Any questions around that bit?
Sorry, I've got a question. I can't find the chat button, so sorry about that. We distribute via the Orchard, but one of the things that I need to know is how do you pitch to Spotify when you're actually being distributed via the Orchard? That's one thing I don't know how to do.
Okay, so have you got the Spotify for artists set up?
I think we're doing that now. I'm new at this, so sorry.
No, not at all. So what I would recommend is, and this is for everybody, when you're ready, you need to like claim your artist page. So you can type in, if you type in Spotify for artists on Google, and it will take you step by step through. And so first of all, you want to claim your artist profile. So what is the name? Get that set up. And then when you, even if you're going through Orchard, they might use, I mean, different companies use different systems, but it will still appear whether you upload the track through Spotify or whether you upload the track through the distributor, that unreleased track will always still appear in your Spotify for Artists account. It will come under the unreleased section. And then it will allow you to pitch it, but they do say that you need about 6 weeks lead time to pitch. Let me see if I can.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other bits before I move on to the next section? We'll sort of park distribution there. Sorry, it's like the heavy bit, but seems important if it's how you get your music out. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Andrea, could we slide down? Where are we at now? Okay, marketing on a budget. Cool. So we've got our track. We've uploaded them. We're going to pitch 6 weeks before. Now we look at like marketing on a budget, because again, we don't, where's this money coming from? We don't have it yet because we haven't put our songs up. So I really, 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 really strongly urge you to like use tools around you. So if you haven't already, again, you really, really must go to BBC Introducing. Again, go on Google, type in BBC Introducing, create your artist account, set up your profile. Then about 2 weeks before you release your song, you should upload to BBC Introducing. Make sure you put like a good story in there to help them, tell the audience once it's been selected and it's playing on there, and let them engage with your story. Again, I have written it in the notes, but London BBC Introducing is particularly heavy because obviously a lot of us artists migrate to London. So if you do originally reside from somewhere in the UK that's not London, I'd maybe suggest going for that, because personally, moved around a lot. I've been living in Bournemouth for a long time. So we went with the Dorset team and we got a lot of good shine and response from that. And I do think a lot of it was down to the fact that because in that area, there are a lot less artists. So if you can use that, then definitely use that to your advantage. Has anybody not used it before, or used it or had any success before?
I think a lot of the artists here have used it, but without success. But I think you're right with the London.
Yeah, BBC. Yeah, I agree. It's easier to get on Leicester than anywhere else.
That's it. It doesn't matter, because the way that the BBC Introducing works is like they see it as layers. So even even down the road, once you've released your song and you've got a bit of budget and you go to a radio plugger, whose job it is to then bounce it up and expose your tracks like through the hierarchy of BBC, they don't care, as long as like Leicester has broadcasted you and they can see response on this first layer, they're happy. They'll start to move you up the ladder. So if you can, then I would suggest that. But yeah, okay, hang on. I used it as all of my singles and the success. Okay, there's no regional options for me. Yeah, I know, it is a tough one. Are you definitely like making sure in the box that you, sorry, that was to Laya. So she said, yeah, because if you've never lived in London, then you can't use a different one, which I understand. Have you tried in the box putting like a proper story and like really making sure the DJ hears it? And secondly, have you really gone through the channels and listened? Because a lot of them keep merging, it gets a lot smaller. So just because your favorite DJ is this person, make sure that your track is really being sent to the right radio station, because I've made that mistake before, thinking, oh, this will definitely go on One Extra, and it's like, babe, it's never going to be on One Extra. So the two other things I'd really watch out for.
Yeah, I've tried but I can't understand what other options are there, because there's BBC introducing London, and since I make rock alt indie music, it goes to BBC introducing show indie or rock with somebody I don't remember, but it's a pretty big show based in London, and there's nothing else that the system suggests I could pitch to, so I don't really know what to do.
I know it's got worse. It's like a year ago, I think, they started really amalgamating a lot of areas into small, larger systems, but instead of them being individuals, they've come into big chunks. So it does make it harder. There is another one called Amazing Radio, or again, I'm just coming from the soul angle, but Global Soul's a really good. Excuse me, baby keeps moving and I keep getting hiccups, but Global Soul's a good one for the soul scene, to get them pumping you on their radio channels. And again, my top tip is, even on once you have released on Apple Music, you've got the radio spin section, and then you can see what radio stations have been spinning you. And even if these radio stations, actually it's even better if they're really, really small. I often find that the listenership in those really small radio stations are so they're avid followers of those channels, and those are the ones that you aim for. Or looking at artists that are similar to you, going on their Instagram, seeing what they've been tagged in, and seeing which radio stations are have been sharing their music, and hit them up, reach out to them yourselves. Radio stations love it when they get a DM from the artist themselves. So I'd recommend that if you're not getting luck with BBC introducing, or do both. Do both facets. Cool. Anything else on that bit? Amazing. Okay, so I'm not a social media expert. We did have a viral moment in COVID. We just found a formula that was cheap for us to do. We filmed it in our room, as did everybody in COVID. We stuck to that formula, but we basically took a song, changed the words, changed this. We just kept a vocal melody so people knew what the songs were. And then we just kept repeating that pattern. So if you are that way inclined, find a formula that shows your audience who you are. You can stay true to yourself, because it's so hard with social media to feel oh my gosh, now I'm a content creator. Oh my gosh, I've gone too far this way. This is not the narrative that I was once saying. So if you can find a formula that works for you, that's what I'd recommend. But my main takeaway for marketing is the mailing list. As you can see, we've already gone from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, and you find that different generations start sticking different pockets, and it's split audience you spent time growing, it sort of diminishes. So I honestly urge you, every time a fan reaches out on a DM or anything, write back to them. I'm still so honored anytime somebody makes the effort to send me a DM. I will write back. I'll send a voice note back. I'll engage, and I always just say, would you like me to add you to the mailing list? And even Amplify Her, you just see how much time and effort goes in, but you feel a part of the community. You know the message, you know where you stand, you can turn up to the coffee session, and you know the ethos. So even if you look at things like that, and it's you can just send an email. You don't have to spend loads of money to make your post reach your audience. You're paying to reach the audience that you've worked so hard to gain. So yeah, I think that's the end on the marketing bit, unless there's any questions around mailing lists or anything like that. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Okay, growing live. Okay. It is so important that we don't stress about getting booked for shows before we've been to open mics, before we've worked out how to hold a mic. It sounds so dumb, but the positioning of a mic, if you go over, is it going to feed back in the monitor? Is it not? If there's one person watching you, how you behave. And you need to be able to behave the same as when there's 50 people watching you, and like really grow in that second layer of skin. If there's no one in the room, I just tell myself, well, this is a rehearsal, and you still have to shine, you still have to put yourself forward. Because I feel like even when you see people going viral these days, it's amazing, and I'm super happy, and it's inspiring to see how they've used social media. But when they then get booked for live shows, you realize there's a massive gap in their experience, and they find it a challenge to engage with an audience, how to respond with an audience, how to pull them in for a sing-along, or, you know, what their identity is as an artist on stage. So I really, 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 really recommend that you do the open mics, local pubs, Amplify Her, wherever it is that you find local to you, do that. And in turn, you will build confidence and audience connection. So with that audience connection, again, you can have little stickers, sounds cheesy, but people love it. And it's like a nice way for you to give something and engage with them. And you start in turn building your audience. Again, then you need to start looking for like the grassroots promoters. So I put here like Talent Bank, there's obviously Sofa Sounds, there's Global Soul for the soul scene. There's been loads over the years, and I find I have to really look out for them. They go and they come, and just as like an example, there was one that we used to get booked for. The second time we played there, it was just like a brewery in Tottenham, nothing out of the ordinary. And then 3 weeks later, Fern Cotton reached out to us, said, would you come and write a song for me with Emily Sandés and Sam Fender? Because my cousin saw you playing at a brewery. So you have to really, again, go out, start working, start grafting with these grassroots promoters. And then I'll speak from the experience of when I was acting as a booking or a booker for venues. The most thing we used to look out for to start taking artists seriously and giving them like proper fees and things like that is that sold out stamp. So take your time, go to the grassroots promoters, start building your audience, start collecting the mailing list. Then when you're ready, you find like a 50 capacity venue, and your aim is to sell it out. So this is why I'm saying don't jump it, because then you'll just stress the whole time about trying to sell tickets. And it is difficult to sell tickets, I'm not gonna lie, it is difficult. But yeah, when you're ready, if you can get that sold out status for the 50 capacity, you'll then start to get new promoters that will come in, and they'll be looking to book you for the 100 capacity, or then you put the show on again. Again, with myself for GeeJay, we did the Servant Jazz Quarters as our first one. And it's like 70, 100. That was stressful because I think I jumped the gun a little bit, but it worked. And then it was like 2 years, obviously, as a madness with COVID. Then we went to the lower third, completely put it on ourselves, sold it out. And then we got a booking agent knocking on the door. So this is what I mean about being your own DIY artist, hustling and proving your point, and getting your name out there and showing people why they want to come and work with you, with your project. So yeah, and then you can start to look at maybe inviting booking agents to your shows. I put some there like Warm or Earth Agency. Those are good ones that are large but independent. And then you have like your corporate ones that are like UTA, Wasserman, WME, that are like your big corporate ones at the top. Hang on, you got a question there. Is there a way to promote the fact that I sold out my first headline show, 100% gets, how can I leverage this milestone? This is where it's like social media does help, Laya, because it's like, it's not a post that's going to be engaging your followers, but I sort of see your social media page as a little bit of a CV that people can access at any point, because as a booker, when they will scroll through and check you out as an artist, they might hear you, and then I would go to your page, and then I'd have a look at your page, and then I'd see, oh, sold out here. Okay, cool. This act could work for this, and they'll start parting around that. But another great one is Songkick, bands in town. You make sure that you always register your shows in Songkick and bands in town. I know 100% for Songkick. I'm not as much aware with bands in town. It will say sold out. And so again, that's where a booker will look and they'll check things like Songkick and they'll see that it's sold out. So I'd say definitely post on social media, and definitely make sure it's logged in Songkick. Add it to your bio on Spotify. Sold out venue, and blah blah blah. So they can check it out there, and it just helps get the message out and reinforce. And any India the agents? Don't know. I'm a bit out of touch with that, but yeah, definitely global soul for the soul and R&B scene. I Love Live is a funny one because it's like they do an open mic, but then they also do promoted shows. So maybe worth contacting them for like one of the promoted shows. But yeah, any other questions around or setting up the show and ticket links or anything like that? All right, let's move on. Okay, music business basics. Again, being a DIY artist only works if you've got like your artillery of knowledge and your little bag that you can pull from. So just, yeah, it keeps coming up when I talk to people. So I just really wanted to, couple minutes, spend time on about the fact of owning your masters. To the eyes of the law, basic law, whoever like pays for the studio time, the mixing, like mastering, like that end phase or getting you in the studio, by the eyes of the law, unless there's like anything written down, that person would own the master. So if the label says to you, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay for you to go in the studio, then they're probably gonna end up owning your master, which for further down the line, if you did want to strike a distribution deal or go with a different label or anything, they would own your masters. So wherever you can, whether it be putting on a show in your friend's living room and telling the audience that you're raising money to record your thing, or the crowdfunding option, etc., try to cover that. Failing that, if you are going to accept the studio time from a label or whoever it may be, just make sure that you get like your agreement form. So just to say, so and so has been hired to play the bass, or I have hired such and such venue, studio, and I've paid it. Just really, yeah, make sure you get that bit covered. My top tip is Musicians Union, because I know it sounds super, super scary, and then it's like a bit frightening to go in the studio. It's not. It's absolutely not. If you look at the NU, they have all these pre-made agreements for this anyway, so you don't even have to scramble. You just download it and fill it in. I've put there's like £24 a year for a student. And like first 6 months, £1. I don't know what it rolls onto afterwards if you're not a student. But yeah, I'd recommend that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but yeah, just watch out for that bit. Okay. Fiona, should you avoid producers that don't do contract but only do by verbal agreements? You know what, in bare minimum, and I understand, you know, sometimes it's like really awful because you get into like this creative space and then it becomes awkward to then talk about like the dirty, nitty gritty lawyer business stuff, and I hate it. But if you don't get that, then you actually can use now like email. If we were to write an email with each other and I say, look, Fiona, this track that we're doing together, X track, I'm going to own 50, you take 50, thank you very much. And you just get him responding on email saying, thanks, Fiona, agreed, I'll take 50%, you take 50%. So that sort of effect, that is actually a contract. That is actually a contract in itself in the eyes of the law. So minimum, I would.
Thank you.
Can that be the same for songwriting splits? Could you do it over email?
You can. So they say, like in the eyes of the law, even if you went into Sainsbury's and you say, I'm going to buy this orange, and they say to you, it's for 50p, and you give them 50p, that's an act of like an engagement and like a contract. So yeah, you can, in the eyes of the law, show this email chain. There's even a bit of a grey area around text messages these days. So as long as you get something, you should be fine. And I've even done it recently and like brokering for a producer and a singer to go in a session. And I didn't do a full contract, but I was quite thorough in an email and it's been fine. So yeah, there is that way around it as well. Just to be mindful of that horrible bit that nobody wants to think about. Okay. All right, shall we move on to the next section? Okay, really, really boring, and you've probably already done it. So just, if you haven't done it, just take a photograph, because this is the boring bit that you just need to set up, get your account set up, and then just each time you release a song, you register it with PRS, you register it with PPL, and it's just something that works in the background. In the beginning, you're just going to get like a tiny payment each 3 months, and as you go through your career, it just starts to grow and grow and grow, and it's something that's being collected for you in the background. And it's also that second factor of how to make sure that you have like a documented way of saying this song X was written by this artist 50/50. That's another way of documenting it, is by registering the track with these pros. Okay. Trying to get through the boring bit. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So yeah, my message today to you guys is like, you really can, and with like less label deals being on offer, etc. today, I genuinely believe that the further you go in and stop waiting around, as it were, for someone to come and save you, and think to yourself, okay, I'm really good at these sets of skills, I could be okay at these sets of skills, go out and find the courses, find somebody that's talking about those things and learn of it. And of course, when none of us are like superhuman, there's going to be things that are like, I just can't do them. And that's maybe where you look to try and get help on board with a friend filming you, or someone helping with social media. I don't know, but try to see it in those three brackets. What am I good at? What can I improve on? And what are the areas where I may need help? Taking that on board, I think, just makes it like a clearer mind state for you to just keep moving forward. Another top tip is setting a date. Like, instead of letting like the artist in you rule, I'm going to release an album in November. Of course, be realistic. I'm going to release an album in November, work backwards. So I'm going to have all the like visuals and assets done by October. I'm going to have all the tracks mixed and mastered in September. I'm going to have finished the core of the writing in August. And in June and July, that's going to be the time where I pen all of this project and ideas together. And it just helps me to keep on track and make sure that I release music and I get that expression out there, instead of just over and over and over and over again editing and realize that I've edited the same song 100 times and it's just not, no one's ever going to hear it. So just get a date in mind and just get it out there. So yeah, I hope that has helped. And if you've got any other questions at all, yeah, please feel free to ask. Okay, there's a question here. How much throughout your journey have you invested in paid ads, and has it made a big difference? Okay, interesting. I've only just in the last few years started to invest in paid ads. The way that I've done it, I went to another webinar to learn from somebody else, and what they recommended was, if you do it for like a week, if you set up an ad for a week and you put a daily budget of £5, and if you can see that you're gaining traction from it, then if you can, maybe extend the duration, maybe extend the amount a little bit. But if you're not really getting results, then you haven't gambled much money and you can just stop the advert. Or you can try and reframe it. I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, you can trial reels now and things like that before putting money behind them to see what works with an audience and what doesn't. Yeah, I've only done it like twice at the moment, just comparing two videos, and I saw a slight difference, but I do assume that if you put time into it, as in different versions of the same post, it probably works. But yeah, Okay, not everyone has the trial option, so maybe it's a thing that they're slowly, because I realize even like horizontal to square, I've only just had that change. So hopefully that'll come through for you, Sarah, soon. Jodie has raised.
Yeah. I was just going to ask about playlisting.
Yes.
Do you how do you do it? Because I've done it like with, you know, the sites where you kind of pay for people to like review it. But I've also done it through Chartmetric. And I've had bits of success with both, but not like mega success.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how you like organize like your playlist pitching, where you go, and also like how you do it over time. Like, do you have like a long-term game for it? I don't know. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've been doing GeeJay since like 2019. So and it's only the last 2 singles that I've released, and my catalog's at like around 28 songs now.
Wow.
It's only the last 2 songs that I've ever got support from like an official playlister. So all of the years, it's literally just been about seeing who is again, sorry, it's so specific to soul, but there's a channel called Somewhere Soul. So it's building up like your list of direct contact. I will always write to Josh and say, hey Josh, new track coming out, here's my, can I pitch it to you? Same with like the Blues Project, same thing. And I have over the years, I've like curated my own contact list of every time I'm getting ready to release. I send them an email, I give them a preview of the single, and I do it that way because what I've realized is that even when you do get on these big playlists, it doesn't always translate. It's not the be all and end all. It's not what's gonna make or break it. It's these small connections that you make along the way, and how you keep supporting each other. And those, you'd be surprised, but if you're looking at the algorithm, if you were to get like more small playlists building, the algorithm eventually is like, oh, there's something going on over here, you know. So it's important. Those small playlists are really important, and it will start to grow it.
That's really good advice. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, there's another message. IG sometimes even takes the option away. I used to have it. Oh no, they currently give the trial option to some people. If you update your app or similar, you can fall out of this group again. Oh damn. Okay, I did not know that. Okay, so that's useful advice, guys. If you update, it could go. I've just had to get a new phone, so I haven't checked. Maybe my trial thing's even gone. But yeah, thank you, Sarah. Anything else? Yeah, Jodie.
Another question, because quite funnily enough, like your song was on my playlist even before like this thing. Like I've got like a soul pop one.
Okay.
But I was just gonna ask about the story behind Flowers specifically, because like I know that's been a major one for you, and I was just wondering, like, did it go viral immediately, or did it take time for that to like build up? Or yeah, I'm just curious.
Flowers is an interesting one. It took time. It took time to build that one, and now it just, I think it's that thing, isn't it? Because it's nostalgic, so people understand it. And I do think that's an interesting area in itself, is when you do covers or interpolations for streaming platforms. I do think that can help, especially with interpolation. And if you record it, you can own the mastering, but you can't get it like printed into physical, and you definitely can't collect the money from like PRS. That still retains with a songwriter. I think it helps gain traction for streaming platforms. Ways you can cover or interpolate a song. So take it, see how far away you can take it, but making sure the listener knows it's a cover. I'm not saying copy and rip someone. But yeah, no, that one was a slow build. Again, that one went out. Oh gosh, that was in the beginning.
Yeah, I love flowers.
Me too. I grew up
Yeah.
sweet female attitude with way too much attitude stomping around the screen. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Anything else? Yes, stay informed. Thank you, Andrea. One of my top tips is, you can see it on the screen, like follow things like Music Week, Music Business Worldwide, Music Managers Forum, because you just then stay updated. If you're not going to have a manager in your ear, then I find that I just have a quick read of these, and it just sort of keeps me in the know of, I don't know, this company's changing that, this company's changing this, and you just like in the know / Music Week jobs, you get like a lot of information there about what jobs are available in the industry. And I've also just included at the bottom, when you do come to decide to start putting on your own shows, there's like a music fair play venue list and another one about options about different promoters that the ICMP have recommended. So I recommend looking through that. It's quite a long list. But yeah, it definitely helps keep me sane to watch what's going on in the industry. Yeah, okay, there's a couple more questions. How do you juggle children and music? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Well, grandparents, nursery, and to be honest with you, my it's a pro and a con. My partner, I'm G and he is J. It's that basic. I'm sorry. So we do the project together. So it's great because some days we can write music, and I mean, she's just running around the house or telling us that she's going to sing and we're not allowed to sing. But then obviously when you are going on tour and things like that, it is harder because one can't look after the child whilst the other one works, because we both have to work at the same time. So yeah, it's a careful balance of nursery and grandparents and yeah, your partner understanding, and taking it in turns really. Like when the child goes to sleep, it'll be like, okay, who's working tonight and who's going to have sleep? So it'll be, oh, Jay needs to work on the production, so he'll stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'll get up at 7 with her, 6, 5, I don't know, whenever she wakes up with the breakfast and takes the morning, and then he'll wake up, and then you kind of switch over. You find a way, and it really, I had my first child when I was 29, but I'd gone my whole life being like, I'm never having children until I've made it. I'm never having children until I made it. No, nobody stop asking me about children. But actually, of course it's difficult, and of course you get really, really tired, but I find like I have way more focus since having a child, of like, I know that she's going to have a nap somewhere between this time, so I know that I've only got 2 hours, so I better write that verse, or I better write that pitch in those 2 hours. Whereas before having a child, I knew that my time was more exponential, and I could like wake up at this time and, oh, I'll do the PR thing later, or, you know, but yeah, I found it to be more of a focus, but definitely tired. Okay, so someone had to go. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for joining. What catapulted your streams into the millions? Can you see what led to it exactly? That's an interesting one. Again, there was a small spike when we started going viral in lockdown, and then it mainly came from our second EP, like tracks like Ordinary Girl and Mama, It's Okay to Cry, and they still just keep going. I'd like to say that there was like a one ultimate thing, but I think it's just a multiple of things. Like we basically release an EP or an album every year, or a couple of singles every year, which is a real challenge because I still believe that it should be quality rather than quantity, but wherever possible, still just trying to release, or even just like the inspiration cover thing, if you're not ready to drop an EP or an album. Don't know if that's helped as well. And and performing, I find that you do see a pickup. Sounds crazy, but you see a pickup when you do shows. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, sorry, I don't know if that answered your question. I wish I could summarize it, but I think it's a multitude of things happening all at once in response to you, Sarah. Yeah, no problem. It's called the Ronald's Cafe. Send a message on here. How many weeks do you give to pitch your song to Spotify editorial playlists? So first of all, sorry, that's to DJ Floss. 6 weeks for Spotify playlisting. They want 6 weeks. So again, knowing your release plan and having a structure to it is really important. You had some luck with BBC introducing. Do you know if there's a way you getting onto other BBC radio stations, etc.? BBC introducing support. Okay, so depending on your budget, that's maybe once you've had that recognition from BBC introducing. First of all, try and reach out to the presenters and thank them yourself. Some are responsive, some are not. If you do have some budget, then maybe you could start to look at radio pluggers, but be really careful because as is everything, it can be a bit of a cowboy situation where people will promise you the world. So make sure you've definitely seen results on their Instagram or they've got like a website, and make sure you always ask for an independent rate. Make sure they know that you're independent because there's different rates whether you're signed or you're not signed. Cool, no worries. Okay.
Can I just add one thing? Because we're talking about BBC, and I've spoken to a few DJs from BBC, and one of the things they complain about is the fact that when they play the track, the artists don't really get people listening to it or calling in or having interaction. So they're like, we are looking for like the artist that has like somebody calling in. So then we're thinking maybe we'll put you on the BBC show, maybe you'll put you on the BBC introducing festival, etc., etc. So that was one of the feedback from the DJ, from the radio DJ in Brighton actually. So.
Oh, that's really interesting. That is really interesting. So I guess they want to see that the engagement's going both ways rather than giving it to you.
Yeah, they want to. It's again, everything is an exchange. I think in this industry, it's like they want. Yeah, they're giving you the platform, but they want to see, how much you're giving in as well. As in like, so if your track is playing, I would have like everybody call them, your mom, your cousin, doesn't matter. You're like everybody called like, oh my god, I have this track played again. Like calling. No, because they do this thing. You can call BBC when they're playing a track. You can actually call on the phone. I can't remember. I don't know exactly how it works. I have never called a DJ, but there's a number that they say I'll call or text or something. Even a text. Just the fact that there's attraction. This is one of the things he was telling me about. He's like, if we don't see the momentum, even a post on social media, like reposting them, just like constantly having like, BBC here is like gods, but yeah.
It makes sense. They say that about Spotify, even they're like, if you do get support, you have to show love, and they're like really serious about that. So that's such a good point. That makes so much sense, Andrea, for BBC as well.
But BBC is even, I would say, I think Spotify is a huge one. It's such a huge international like machine, really. Versus I think BBC is a bit more personal, so there's a bit more you can, I think, push it a bit more. So that would be, and keep in touch with the DJ that played you. Thank you very much. It was great, like you said it before, like, and send you a new track, or like, invite them. I invite everybody to the shows when I perform. It's like, you need to come. I don't care who you are. Come over, have a drink, and you'll be surprised that a lot of people come because they're not used to be invited. That's another thing, they're like, oh, okay, I'll come. This strange girl is inviting me to this little spot somewhere. But that's just wanted to share that.
Really good. Tops.
Cool. Do you have any more questions? Are we done? No? Good?
Perfect. Okay.
Amazing, we did it. I want to thank Gina very much for coming. By the way, Gina, I didn't tell you this at the beginning because I didn't want you to be more nervous. But when we did our talk with Virgin, she was telling us on stage when we had our talk about how much she wanted to sign you and how she was excited to have a collaboration with you. So
No way.
Yeah, to have you coming in as an artist and having like a major, although they call themselves indie, but an indie label major, you know, wanting to sign you like this is so congrats on all your success, because that's very big for all the indie artists out there. You can make it because you're making it. So.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry, Jones. Remember, I'm pregnant and hormonal.
And she also has a baby coming up in 8 weeks. So like,
yeah,
big claps. Second baby. Thank you so much. And
we'll be
tell everybody when is your next show so we can come and support as well.
Oh yeah, I would honestly, because it's going to be like 4 weeks after I give birth, so I need smiley, happy faces there, just like, you know, feeling the vibe together. But it's at the Islington Assembly Hall on Thursday, the 20th of November.
Can you put the link in the message box?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Assembly Hall, GeeJay. Yeah, I don't know. People were like, "Are you like thinking straight?" Like 4 weeks after giving birth. But then I spoke with Andrea, who's also an incredible mama in the industry, and she's like, "You can do this. You can do this." I did this at like, what was it, Andrea? Like 4 or 6 weeks?
Yeah, it was 4 weeks as well. Yeah, but
there you go.
But you need it's good to have your people there. So
yes.
If we can, we'll be there.
There. That's the thing. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much.